The great city's construction is underway. Can your family gain the most everlasting glory? Well then we better get started. Hey there, it's Theo from Geeky Gamer Guy. This video I'll be reviewing Teotihuacan, City of Gods from NSKN Games. After this. In Teotihuacan, City of Gods, 1 to 4 players are scions aiming to position their noble families to be at the top of the social ladder. To do this, they must employ their workers to perform noble deeds on the 8 action boards around the city. Now for this overview, I'll be going over the setup used in the rulebook for the first game played. Tokens are placed and the foundation of the pyramid is built according to player count. Then each player places 3 workers at a starting power of 1 on specific action boards determined by when they will be taking their turn. A 4th worker die is inactively set in the Avenue of the Dead area, to be used for later. Maybe? Once again determined by player order, each player advances in some of the red, blue, green temple tracks or the Avenue of the Dead track. Lastly, they will all acquire a number of 4 different resources: cocoa, gold, stone, and wood. These will be used on things like feeding their workers, pyramid tiles, decorations, and technologies. The game is played over 3 eras. On a player's turn, they can either take a normal turn or unlock all their workers. When taking a turn, the player selects and moves 1 active unlocked worker up to 3 action boards clockwise. Then they must perform 1 of 3 possible actions on the action board the worker is placed on: collect cocoa, worship, or perform a main action. When collecting cocoa, count the number of different colored workers on the board and take that many cocoa plus 1 from the supply. When worshipping, move the worker to the worship area to the left of the main action space. This locks that worker, making it unable to be moved until it's unlocked. Then take one of the actions above or below it, either advancing their player token in a particular temple track or acquiring a bonus token. Bonus tokens are acquired in a variety of ways and usually give a one-time benefit. They can also provide things like masks that are used in eclipse scoring. The player can also pay 1 cocoa to do both. Lastly, the player can take the main action on an action board. To do that, they must spend cocoa up to the number of different colored workers on that board before placing there. Then, depending on how many worker dice they have there and what power they're at, the worker receives the benefits for that space. For example, when going to the forest, if there are 2 of a player's workers there, each with a power of at least 3, they get 2 wood. Some action boards allows players to place pyramid tiles or decorations along the steps. If a tile symbol covers up a matching colored icon below it, the player advances a step on that color's temple track. After performing the main action, the player can upgrade the power of 1 or even 2 workers by 1 power. Once a worker reaches 6 power, the worker ascends and resets to 1. Aww. Allowing the player to gain an award from the Avenue of the Dead area. Things like hiring their 4th worker or moving up temple tracks of their choice. The other action a player can take is to unlock all their workers for free. After the last player has taken a turn, move the light disc 1 space down the eclipse track. Once the light disc reaches the dark disc on the track, an eclipse occurs. After each eclipse is triggered, every player gets 1 more turn. Then specific tracks are scored. Plus points are awarded for however many sets of masks a player has. Then players must pay cocoa to feed their workers, 1 each and an additional cocoa for every 4 and 5 power worker. They're mighty hungry. After that, reset the discs and continue playing. The game ends in 1 of 2 ways. Either the Pyramid of the Sun is fully constructed, or the 3rd eclipse is triggered. After that is final scoring. The player with the most victory points is the winner. Whoa, what a game! It really brings on that sweet, sweet brain burn with a nice smooth flow. Ooh. All the mechanics work so beautifully together. Almost any route you take will score you some points and move you up a track, which will score additional points during an eclipse. Speaking of eclipses, I really like how it's an event that triggers intermittent scoring. Because of this, there isn't one big massive scoring at the end, but scoring throughout play, really helping players strategize and refocus their efforts in what they want to achieve by the end. The game does a good job at challenging you to balance resources for the actions you want to take, which is literally everything. Stone and wood tiles to build the pyramid, gold for technologies that grant benefits, cocoa to even take the actions to buy the resources, and to feed your workers. Like a kid in a candy store, you just want it all. And that's just some of what to expect. There's a heaping ton of variety in this game. Like I said earlier, the overview is just for your first game. After that, each player is dealt starting tiles, making you have more control over where workers start and which resources to begin with. It's a very simple change that makes the game so much better. If that weren't enough, all the action boards, technology tiles, and temple bonus tiles can be rearranged into different combinations, making each game a fresh experience. So fresh. To top it all off, it's so striking on the table. From the large oversized board to the central pyramid and rich warm colors, this game has presence. Even though I really enjoyed my plays of this game, there's a couple of things that should be addressed. As you can probably tell, this is a big game, and because of that, there's a bit of a learning curve. To help with that, there really needs to be player reference cards. Since there's a lot to be mindful of, it would be great for players to refer to something to help with planning while waiting for their turn. It's a small thing that can have a profound impact on helping players. Because there are so many moving parts between actions and tracks, it can be a bit overwhelming and hard to remember when certain tracks are affected in your first couple games. It certainly took me a full game to finally sort it all out with what moved when. Now, just because there's a lot of ways to score points doesn't mean they all will score you the win. Definitely focusing on building the pyramid or building houses seem to be the better choice than, say, collecting sets of masks. Lastly, I wish that the game had player boards to help organize where all your bits went. It doesn't have to be big like Marco Polo, but just give me a spot to keep everything organized. Please. All that aside, after the initial learning curve, this game sank its hooks into me, and I'm cool with it not letting me go anytime soon. So if you're looking for a crunchy Euro that is oh so satisfying to play, you should definitely check this one out. That's it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Plus hit the bell to not miss out on future videos. Until next time, stay geeky, keep gaming. Oh yeah, you gotta do it that way, do it that way. There's a heaping, I don't even know where